What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic Friday night. I'm getting pumped up, man. It's a weekend. I'm already placing a few bets here for college football tomorrow. We've got NFL on Sunday. You know, we got to wait till 4, so that'll always drive me nuts, but I'm ready to go, baby. And tonight, we're obviously Friday night, we're going to do the roster comparison and the matchup advantages. So I thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a great weekend so far. Off to a great start, I hope. Now, myself, it's been a long day already. Holy hell. But I'm definitely ready to get into this. So any questions, any kind of comments that you have, we are going to get into all of it, all the injuries, everything. But we're going to talk about both of these teams, their standings, their coaches, their roster. We're going to talk about who has the advantage in this matchup here. And then obviously tomorrow we'll get into the top 10 matchups with my score prediction, and we'll go from there. But yeah, hit me with anything you've got. Hope you're having a good night. If you're watching this later, you know you can always comment, and I'm happy to get back to you and talk some birds. Now, let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Eagles and the Chargers roster comparison and matchup advantages. So let's get into it. You guys know how it goes. I pop this bad boy up as we go along, and we talk about which by position here, which team has the advantage. So we're going to go position by position, talk about the players on each team, who is injured, who's out, keep you guys up to date with what is going on this Sunday. So before we get into the rosters, let's take a look at the Chargers here. Having a good old time in second place. Doing a good job is Brandon Staley. And, you know, Joe Lombardi there as the offensive coordinator, Ronaldo Hill as the defensive coordinator, Darius Swinton the second. Now, we talk about this Eagles staff being young, you know, none of these guys having experience at their, you know, respective positions. But I think that these guys, you know, in the same boat, but they kind of had a roster that was a little better put together. You know, Sirianni and the gang obviously walked into something a little bit different. Now, I like the idea. Obviously, Sirianni, I didn't like what he was doing at the beginning, but I like the idea of what Brandon Staley is doing over there, too. So, two young coaches, you know, figuring it out. Week 9, going to be a big battle. So, let's see what Brandon Staley is going to bring to the table. He's going to definitely bring it, man. So I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup. But he's got his team doing pretty well so far. Decent, you know, we talked about it. But they got 4 wins. They're in second place. We talk about that. But they've got 104.4 rushing yards per game. That's 18th in the league. So middle of the pack there, but 7th in passing, 12th total overall yards, sorry. And then tied for 11th with 24.7 points per game. So this team, you know, looks kind of, you know, average-ish here, you know, when you're looking at numbers. But we talk about taking numbers with a grain of salt. You have to be able to, you know what kind of situation these teams have been in. So we're going to keep moving it along. We'll show, you know, how many sacks they've given up, interceptions thrown. So once again, 13th sacks, 19th interceptions thrown. Tied for 6th with fumbles lost, so not giving up too many fumbles there. And then 1.1 turnovers per game. They are tied for 12th. So, you know, it looks like with the stats that this team, you know, average-ish. I think that, you know, obviously we know they've got some playmakers on that team. So we'll see what this team, you know, will bring to our table. But this defense has definitely been stepping it up as of late. And I think that, you know, for this Eagles team, obviously we need to keep building on wins, but this season is about growing. So each week we want to see them progressing. And even if they lose, you want to see them go out and fight, right? And you want to see that they've learned. You want to see Nick Sirianni's running the ball. You want to see Jalen Hurts getting better, right? So we know we ran the ball well against the Lions. So we're going to go against this Chargers team now. We're going to talk about their defense, all that great stuff. But first, we're going to focus on these teams, where they're at, and then talk about offense. Some we'll get into that defense. But right now, the Eagles are second in the division, 3-5. You see what the Cowboys did, even without Dak Prescott, for the love of God. I just really want to punch myself in the face when I watch that. But this is not, you know, we talk about the Eagles before the season started. I really don't think, you know, they have a chance to beat the Cowboys for the division. And I still kind of feel that way. I'll be real with you, because the Cowboys are pretty damn dominant. The Eagles are a good team when it comes to promise, right? We know that for the future, they've got some talent. We got to build around that and hope for the future. I just don't think right now we're the better team. And yeah, it sucks saying that. And, Dallas sucks. F Dallas forever. But, right now they're doing pretty good. And we got to figure things out, keep growing, keep getting better. So we'll see how we do. And obviously that relies on Nick Sirianni, Steichen, Jonathan Gannon, what they're bringing to the table here. And, last week obviously it looked improved. And, there were weeks that they did look good. And then there were times where you're wondering, why are we not running the ball? Then Gannon, what the hell is he doing? And you look at some of the players they have, and then, I don't know, you try to make sense of all of it. But they're trying. They're young. And right now, this offense where we have it, that looks 6 in rushing, but a lot of that is our quarterback. And, we finally just ran the ball last week, 260 damn yards. So whatever. Passing the ball, struggling there. Jalen Hurts definitely needs to up his game, but we know that he needs to, keep progressing through the year. And we knew this would take time. This isn't something that just happens overnight. It happens when he's on the field. So I think he definitely still has his mistakes, and we've all seen that. But I still really have hope for the kid. So really hopeful for him that he just has a good game here. And yeah, man, this is going to be intense. But regardless, let's keep it moving. You saw the sets there. And we're giving up 1.8 sacks per game. Interceptions, only a half per game. That's tied for 6. Not bad. Only 0.4 fumbles lost. I like it. Not turning the ball over too much. Tied for 7th there. So that's the stuff you want to see. But obviously, we want to be putting up more points. Now, this team, I think that there is hope there, guys, but we know that it's going to be taking, a couple years probably. So we got to see what we need in next year's draft. Looking like we could have 3 first-round picks. That's awesome. So let's enjoy that. Let's build on that. And this year, we continue to build with these young guys. What is going on? My man Michael in the building. Happy Friday. Hopefully you're having yourself a great start to your weekend. I'm definitely pumped up, ready for the birds, ready to jump through a damn wall, because anytime I get a little taste that game time's coming, I get pumped. And college football, it's exciting to watch. You get to watch some of these promising kids, see who's going to be on our team, hope that some of these guys will make it, But, oh, man, Eagles is what really matters to me. So when that happens, dude, oh, yeah, we'll be rocking and rolling. But anytime I'm putting these shows together or getting ready to come on, dude, I'm just getting pumped up because I'm like, oh, here we go, dude. It's time to rock and roll. So I hope you're having a great weekend, Michael. I appreciate you tuning in. Do you run the ball this week? Yeah, you have to run the ball this week. Let's get these wideouts involved. Yep, we're going to talk about that here in a second, Michael. So let's get into that. Great question. But let's break it down. Now I'm going to show you. This is the list. Now we'll go by each position. We'll talk about both teams, and then we'll talk about who has the advantage here. So starting with the Chargers, Justin Herbert. This dude helped me to my fantasy championship last year. Got to thank him. But let's be real. We can definitely get him rattled, but he can still pass that rock. I don't care, man. He is really good. And you got to try to shut down the run game. It's the same thing. A lot of times you want to make somebody one-dimensional. And this kid is really effing good. And they've got some good receivers, a good running back who can run the ball, catch the ball. So you're going to have a lot going on. But this kid is definitely somebody to worry about. So this defense is going to need to bring their A game. And Jonathan Gannon is going to need a great game plan for him. So we'll see what we got here, but this defense is going to have to step it up. Now, Jalen Hurts, this is a tougher defense he's going to be going against here. And I think that, this is obviously a defense that they don't have the greatest of stats. So let's pop them up here. So here is what Jalen Hurts will be facing. They are 32nd against the run, 5th against the pass. So you know what I'm going to be getting into here in a second with running the ball. But 5th against the pass, so they're pretty good. So Jalen Hurts is going to have a tough time, but they are missing Asante Samuel Jr., Michael Davis, and also missing one of their safeties. So they're missing some guys in the secondary. We got to hope that some of these young receivers can get going, but we got to establish that run first. So obviously the run game is what will help Jalen Hurts grow. You can't put everything on his back. You can't be just nonstop RPO. It doesn't work like that. So we know that this defense, we can put some points up on them, though, dude. They're giving up 25.3, but that also, take it with a grain of salt. You got to look at their matchups. Got to look at who's scoring, but you can definitely run the ball on this team. So Jalen Hurts, we got to be able to run the ball and make things easier for him. So I think Jalen Hurts, he's definitely going to have a matchup he can win. They've got some good edge rushers. But we got to run that damn ball, make it easier for him. Regardless, I'm going with the advantage to the LA Chargers. Justin Herbert has a better matchup because he's a better quarterback. And I think that with the weapons he has, they can really hurt us. And this dude I just think he has a better advantage because Jalen Hurts, he struggles. And they may be 32nd against the run, but they put up points, and a lot of teams have to pass the ball against them. So take that with a grain of salt. I know that they struggle, but they've got some good players. I mean, missing Kenneth Murray is huge. He just got his 21-day window activated. We talked about that. So, I mean, that's not good for them. But regardless, I'm going advantage to the LA Chargers on that one. I just feel we all know that Justin Herbert is a pretty damn good quarterback. If you don't, we hopefully don't find out this week, man. But yeah, let's keep this bad boy rolling. Got another comment. Michael, of course, man. I appreciate you taking the time. And we're going to keep it rolling. So keep those questions coming, man. Anybody else? Anything you want to talk about? It doesn't have to be about it, but we're going to be getting into each position. So fire away. Let it be known. But you asked about that run game. You guys know for the past few years, my motto is run the damn ball. Run the ball. Run the ball. So you ran the ball last week, even without Miles Sanders. And the week before we tried. We did. And we had a great drive with Miles Sanders. Then he gets hurt. And then we go away from it again. It's just like, but Jordan Howard, Boston Scott. And then, you didn't have to use them at the end of the game. You had Kenny Gainwell in there with Gardner Minshew to cut off. Damn, so that was too much. But this team was rolling. We talked about that's what we needed to see. Yeah, it's just loads people want to say. But guess what? I talked about the fact that if we put up plus 30 and if we could beat them by 25, then I would feel good. We whooped that ass. We scored over 44 points, and we beat them by 38. So 44-6. It was a beautiful game. But yeah, I know it's the Lions, but they put up some tough fights against the Ravens, the Rams. So, hey, I don't care, man. You build on that. And we talked about that's what that game needed to be. You build on it. But you move on, you got a tough team in the Chargers, but hopefully it gives you something to, stand up to these guys. So we want to run that ball, but they're definitely going to try to run that ball. We struggle ourselves against the run. So you see that Austin Eckler is on this team. So that in itself is just scary. So we'll look at what our defense is doing here real quick. Yeah. We're 24th against the run. So ourselves not doing too well. Good against the pass and total yardage there. Giving up some points, though. So we have to watch out for the run game of the opposing team. But we know Austin Eckler is a bad dude. He can run the ball outside the tackles, inside the tackles. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can do it all, man. Had him in fantasy plenty of times. He does get hurt at times. But when he's healthy, he can hurt you. You got Larry Roundtree here. Kid is a stud rookie. Josh Kelly actually filled in well last year. Justin Jackson will be out this game, though. We talked about that on the injury report this week. So they've got themselves Austin Eckler, though. So don't think it really matters elsewhere. Got to watch out for that. Going to be scary. We got to be able to stop this run. People got to wrap up, tackle. Come on. Fundamentals, ladies and gentlemen. Now, our run game, Boston Scott stole the show last week. But we obviously brought up Jordan Howard from the practice squad. You got Kenneth Gainwell there. He actually had the most rushes because it was just garbage time rushes. But Boston Scott and Howard look great. Miles Sanders, unfortunately, on the IR when we're finally running the ball. But you have to run that ball. We talked about they are the worst in the league. Take it with a grain of salt, but also take it with, my God, just run the ball. That's what you take from it. Now, Boston Scott, keep pounding that rock, man. He's a little bruiser. I love it. Jordan Howard, I imagine, will probably be brought up again. We protected LeBraven Clark, John Hightower, Jordan Howard. I can imagine those two middle guys there and Hightower and Howard being brought up. We'll talk about that in a minute, why Hightower. But Jordan Howard, I could definitely see brought up to add to this running back room. I like Boston Scott. I like what he did last week. It was very exciting. Love it all. I really do. But when it comes to the matchup advantage, I just feel that Austin Eckler has the advantage on our defense that really can't stop the run themselves. So it's kind of the same boat, but they've got the better back. So as much as I like Boston, yeah, I'm going advantage to the LA Chargers here again, as much as it hurts me to do so. That's just how I have it so far. And we know that this offense is pretty damn explosive. So D-backs going up Slay. Yeah, man. We'll be talking about that in a second here too. Yep, we'll be talking about the receivers and tight ends. So Eckler is definitely somebody you want to talk about, shutting down first and foremost, but you also got to watch out for this entire damn offense because they've got weapons everywhere. So you talk about their wide receivers. Keenan Allen, one of the best to do it. He will dominate in the slot. We saw what Tyreek Hill did to us. We do not want that to happen. Mike Williams, we know we can get beat by that deep ball too. So the secondary has done well, but they've even got Jalen Guyton is a promising young kid too. So Josh Palmer, even Andre Roberts, the journeyman returner, he's in there. But they've got some pretty good receivers here, guys. Those two right there, that's scary. That's very scary. I am definitely concerned about our corners. I love Darius Slay. I'm hoping he can, shut down whoever it is, Guyton or Williams that he's matched up against. Keenan Allen, I'm sure he will see at times, playing in that zone. But dude, let's be real here. It's going to be interesting. So this might be a shootout here on our hands. We got to hope that our offense can put up some points. We got to hope that our young wide receivers can really step up their game. We know that they've been struggling. Jalen Reagor was back at practice, good to go for this game. Only person ruled out for this game was J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. And I think, I know you're all probably dying inside. I know he's a fan favorite. When I was talking about it earlier today on Twitter, people were getting a little pumped up about it, talking about Arcega-Whiteside. And it's like, look, man, I get it. And that, their excuse is he's the blocking, he blocks. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess. But I'll be real with you. I don't care about blocking. I would rather you just be a good receiver. So you're telling me you can't find a good receiver that can block? I don't know, man. So I guess it is what it is. But Quez Watkins, love to see him get some extended snaps in here, dude. We really need some of these guys to step it up. Devonta Smith, I love the kid, man. We talk about he's open a lot of the time. It's just Jalen Hurts isn't getting it to him. Now, Chris Harris is going to be a tough matchup, but all of these guys can line up in the slot, and there will be no Asante Samuel Jr. in this game out with a concussion. So that's huge, man. So maybe we bring up, because of Arcega-Whiteside being out, maybe we bring up a John Hightower because he was, one of those protected practice squad players that we had mentioned. So you can bring up two. I would imagine you want another running back in Howard and then another receiver in Hightower. So that will probably be what is done. So definitely keep you up to date with that. Now, talking about that, I love our young receivers. I love the promise there. We need Hurts to keep stepping it up. We'll see what happens there. But would love a big game out of them. But they're definitely going to get tested. And when we talk about the Chargers, I think that they're pretty proven at what they can do. And I think that they have a tougher defense, tougher secondary. And when you're talking about the safeties and DRUE, James, and NASIR Adderley, man, they're going to have quite the time back there. So I'm really just going to go advantage to the Chargers here because they just have the veteran receivers that I think can do work against Nelson Slay Maddox. I just think as much as I love what our secondary has been doing, and I think we can shut them down, I just feel right now they have the better advantage because our receivers, it's not that necessarily they are struggling, but our quarterback is struggling as well to get them the ball. So, a little bit of a conundrum there for us, but we got to hope that this offense can get things rolling, and you do that by running the ball. And I think they see that, but obviously everything gets a little skewed because it was the Lions. So, you got to be able to establish that run, but be able to pass the ball too. So we're going to need to do that in this game, I do believe. So let's talk about not only just, their wide receivers, but they've got a good tight end or two or three or four. Holy Jared Cook, Donald Parham, and Trey McKitty there. We talked about him pre-draft process, and then Steven Anderson in there. So they've got some pretty good tight ends, and they could definitely attack us there. We're going to see, I'm sure that Jared Cook could, do some work in the middle there, but we've done pretty well at times against, I won't say that against Foster Moreau or Dalton Schultz. They definitely got our number, but Jared Cook, I have him in fantasy, and I think he can definitely do some work and get some targets, especially in the red zone. But you got to be able to, we talk about Davion Taylor and TJ Edwards getting extended snaps. Got to be able to shut this dude down. So I'm hoping with those extended snaps, I'm really enjoying that this defense is starting to look more like what Gannon wants it to. And that's what you needed, because it wasn't going to be Alex Singleton and Eric Wilson. So I like to see that Edwards, and we'll get into that here shortly. But now our tight end, with them not having Kenneth Murray, that's huge. So Dallas Goedert, I think he can definitely do some work in this game. We need to get Jalen Hurts, man. You got to start hitting dudes across the middle here. And that dude being Dallas Goedert. I know you've been hitting him outside the numbers. He had a great game, but let's utilize this beast we have, tight end 1. Then you got Jack Stoll there. I don't know if Tyree Jackson will be ready. Maybe they bring him off IR, but if not, you could bring up Richard Rodgers rather than John Hightower. We'll see which way they go with that. But regardless, ready for Goddard and Stoll to have a good game here. And we really got to use these tight ends, I think. So I think we can attack their linebackers for sure. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give the advantage to the Philadelphia Eagles for their first on the board here. I can't even talk. It's been a long day, I promise you. So we've got 1-3 here so far. We know that their offense is very potent. We know our offense can be potent, but you got to run that damn ball first. So run the ball, and let's see where it goes from there. But we need the offensive line just as much as they do. It all begins in the trenches. So let's look at their offensive line, and this is a pretty damn good one. Rashawn Slater, we talked about him in the draft. Holy hell. Yeah, he's obviously already starting there, and they've got some pretty good. Lindsley, I like him too, and Jonah Jackson. They've got some good players, but Balaga being out, that's a big loss. So I think that's somebody they're missing, but they've done a good job, replacing him. Now, this defense has finally been stepping it up, getting some pressure. I think Gannon is figuring out how to use these players. Losing Brandon Graham is huge. Milton Williams, that was the guy I talked about when Graham went down. I felt he would be the one replacing him. And he's finally, you're seeing it, and he was the guy who replaced him. But he's finally, it's people want right now. And it's like, dude, you got to have patience with some of these young guys. So I think we can really see some more growth here. Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett, more sacks here. I would love to see this offense struggle against our defense. So you do that by getting pressure. So let's hope we can do that. Now, our offensive line, obviously having Mailata back at left tackle, Lane Johnson back is huge. Got the Iron Man Kelsey in the middle there, and then Dickerson and Driscoll. We'll see if it's Driscoll. Obviously, he was dealing with an injury this week. He will be playing. I'm not sure if he's starting or if it's Erbig. We'll see, but just kept it like this for now. I think that you would want to keep it this way. We'll see, though. But this offensive line, man, it's one of the better units, even with Sayamalu and Brooks hurt. Just having those two tackles right there, I just think we showed showed the world that we can really move that ball. And I don't care if you say, oh, just Lions. I don't care. So we're going to see what we can do against this Chargers D. But for me, I'm going ahead and I'm giving the offensive line battle to the Philadelphia Eagles. I just think we have the advantage. I don't care about Joey Bosa. He hasn't been having the greatest of years. And I think whether it's Mailata or Johnson, I think they can shut him down. And we'll talk about the rest of their team. But I just feel, for me, this offensive line has continued to look like one of the better offensive lines now. So camaraderie here that we have in the locker room is showing now on the field. We need that unity. We need these guys to be together. So let's go. Now, let's show that defensive graphic again before we get into the defense itself, because we talk about, this team, 30-second against the run. You can take that with a grain of salt, do with it what you must, but I think you got to run the ball, and they're good against the pass, as you see here. So regardless, you still got to be able to try to see some progression from Jalen Hurts. We're going to need to throw the ball, and not just in garbage time. So you can put up points. We can do this, man. I really feel we can. But, they're only getting 2 sacks per game, 24th in the league. Average stuff there. Getting some turnovers, though, so we got to be careful with the ball. We always know that. Can't shoot ourselves in the foot. Stupid penalties, all that crap that we love to do. You can't do that. So let's not do that. Now, before we get into that, let's look at the Eagles defense again real quick. Once again, we are struggling ourselves against the run, but good against the pass. So kind of the same thing here going on. So that's why I like this matchup. I think people are really sleeping on the Eagles, and they definitely have proven offense much more than us. but we can definitely put up points. And I think our defense might just be better. So we'll see here on Sunday. But regardless, got a couple more sacks. We were like 27th or 30th, something horrible. At least we're moving up in the ranks there. But we got to start getting some more sacks, more turnovers. Let's go, Birds. I believe you can find that fire inside, because holy hell, has it been some rough times ever since that. Well, you know what? The Cowboys, I think, is what did it for me. Where it's just like, oh, man, I knew there would be bumpy roads, but what did I say? It was off-roading in a Prius or something, like in the Rocky Mountain. I don't even know what I said, but dude, just you want to see at least trying to run the ball, in-game adjustments, something, and you weren't seeing any of that. So please, I want to see progress. That's all I really want to see. And I, of course, want to win. I want to win every damn game. But let's keep it going. Let's talk about the defenses here. Their defensive line, they are 3-4, which we talked about. They got Tillery, Joseph Jones, Covington, and Gaziano there. And then on the edge, we talked about Bosa, the outside linebackers, defensive ends, what you were to call them in a 4-3, but they are 3-4 now. You got Nwosu out there. Fackrell will get his as well. So it is a decent line, but like I said, I think our offensive line can stop them. And I know Bosa's good, but he hasn't been having a great year regardless. And I think this offensive line could give him trouble. I hope so. If not, it hurts is killing himself half the time. He really just needs to calm himself down in the pocket, not, sometimes run a little too early, but it's okay. I know he's still young. We just need to see the progression. So I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying we need to see that growth. So I know Bosa's going to be there, but trust in your linemen to protect you. So let's see what happens. But we've got ourselves a line that we know has got some explosive players, some monsters of the midway. Now, let's be real here. This team is, kind of in limbo as to who they are. And that's okay, because they're a young coaching staff, young team with some veteran players here trying to figure out their role, with Fletcher Cox being one of those guys going back to a 3-4 here, and Javon Hargrave, Milton Williams getting there. So we need those guys to continue to step it up. Ridgeway himself, love that. And then the edge rushers, man, we need those guys to keep getting some. Sweat and Barnett got some last week. You got Avery, Kerrigan, Jackson, even Johnson got a couple snaps, but those are your outside linebackers, your defensive ends, whatever the hell you want to call them. But we're a hybrid 3-4 defense now. So these are your guys outside standing up most of the time now. But Kerrigan's a dude that needs his hand in the dirt. No more seeing him in that. No. And then when you're in 3-4, he doesn't need his hand in the dirt because he can't play that 3-4 defensive end. He just can't. So just want to throw that out there. It's been killing me. But regardless, looking at this sheet again here, I'm going ahead and giving the advantage. Oh, sorry about that. Went backwards. Giving the advantage to the defensive line, to the Philadelphia Eagles here. I just think that if they're running on all cylinders here, man, they could give themselves some problems. I think Rashawn Slater, one of my top matchups last week, we talked about Josh Sweat and Derek Barnett over there against Penei Sewell. But look what they did, man. It was a beautiful game. So, again, up against another rookie, really good Rashawn Slater. So I'm excited to see that matchup. I'm sure it'll be one of my top matchups. So keep your eye on that. Now, talking about the inside linebackers, as I mentioned earlier in the video, Kenneth Murray's 21-day window opened. But I'll be real, I don't think that he's going to play. And I don't ever want to see anybody hurt. So I'm not happy about that. But that is a great thing for the Eagles. This dude is awesome. And I know a lot of people wanted him in the draft, but him being out, that's a huge blow for them. So you see their team without him. KYZIR White, Drew Tranquil in there, Nick Neiman. So it's a big loss, I don't think, but I don't know. Maybe he comes off and surprises us, and that'll suck. But regardless, they're just not the same without him. Obviously, he is a stud in the middle there. So the Eagles now, once again, I've been keeping you up to date. I've been watching the snap count, letting you guys know that Singleton and Wilson were losing their jobs every week, and TJ Edwards, Davion Taylor were taking over. People didn't want to hear it. People were pissed off. And it was like, look, dude, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing here. And Davion Taylor needed to be that guy. He was just hurt. So he got his progress. He was staying afterwards. We talked about this all offseason. I'm very excited to see him continue to grow. Now he's getting those snaps. TJ Edwards actually led snaps this week. It was Taylor last week, but those two are taking over. Alex Singleton saw the least out of those three. So he is falling back to a backup role. And that's what he is. And we've talked about that, guys. I love him. I do. And I know a lot of people love him as a fan, but it's like just because you love him doesn't mean he needs to be on the field, because the dude just definitely struggled in coverage and tackling. But hey, he can still work on those things and get better. I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying I really think the way this defense is set up, Davion Taylor is that coverage guy in dime, the one linebacker you use. And then when you have a 3-4 out there, you got TJ Edwards, is more your tackling machine. So run him on some blitzes, whatever you're doing there, spying, whatever. You can do more with these guys and still use Singleton. You can, but Sean Bradley getting some extended special team snaps. Maybe you see some more defensive snaps with Wilson gone now. But I think that our linebacking crew finally has some promise, and we get to see it on the field. So that gets me very excited. At least we get to see what we have here, because as we all know, we've been like, we knew what we get in Singleton and Wilson. So I'll just be real with you. I'm excited to see what these guys can do. And I think with us, we're doing what we want. We got rid of the veteran in Eric Wilson, and we're letting the young guys who are looking, better. And obviously they struggle in coverage, and they are struggling with tackling. Now, Taylor's done good in coverage, had his miscues on tackles for sure. But I think that this team, it definitely is just suited better on defense for Davion Taylor in there. And we got to hope that with a 3rd round pick, with that skill set he has, that athleticism, man, and he can hit people hard. He's just got to work on some things. And we knew he was raw, right? So let's give him some time and hope that he can be that dude. And with them missing out on Kenneth Murray, that's a monstrous blow. I think this may be the first time, ladies and gentlemen, that the Eagles get the advantage at linebacker. So let's a round of applause for the Philadelphia Eagles making the right move, letting the young guys shine. Now, obviously, it probably wouldn't be this way if it weren't for the Chargers not having the greatest of linebackers. So kind of worked out in their favor this week, but I'm very excited about that move. Something I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks with you guys. I've been keeping you up to date with the snap. I told you, Eric Wilson at one point was the least amount of snaps. And I was like, no one going to talk about that? And dude, he's gone. That's crazy. And he was claimed by the Texans, so now they got to pay the money. That's nuts. Wow, that's nuts. Love it. I love it. So thank you, Houston Texans. Appreciate you. But yeah, we're going to keep moving with these young guys, and I love it. I love it. I do. I'm not saying these guys are like all pro and they're like, yeah, here we go. I've been asking for this forever, because we need to see what they are. Now, don't take this as I don't still want us to draft one in the 1st round. I want a cornerback, a linebacker, a safety, an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman. There's so many things I want. It's just, where are we going to be? Are we going to have that 1st pick and be able to get Kayvon Thibodeau? There's a Stingley. There's Dave. There's so many people where it's like, oh, God, we can make this defense the real deal. And the way it's set up, like, imagine if you had like a Xavier McKinney or an Isaiah Simmons or somebody that, we have, Jonathan Gannon has a great game plan here and a great thought process as to what he's trying to do. But I could tell you, like, you're looking at the players like, that's not going to work. I don't know what you're trying to do here. It's just like, well, all right, if that's what you're going to do, I guess that's what we're going to see while they're scoring on us. What's going on, my man, Mike? Hopefully you're having yourself a great Friday night. We're going through talking about the roster comparison and the matchup advantages here. But I hope you're enjoying your night. If you have any questions, comments, let me know, man. But thank you for tuning in, dude. And dude, so far we've gone through and it's kind of even, but more so them on offense. It's how you want to take it. I don't know, but let me know how you guys are thinking about it. You're always more than welcome to let me know how you feel about this breakdown, but let me know your thoughts on it. Now, the thing we're going to get into next is very intriguing. And this one was actually really annoying and hard for me to come down to who was what. Now, let's talk about it. We talked about the receivers. We know what we have, what they have. Chris Harris Jr. is one tough dude, still playing, stayed in the AFC West. Now, Asante Samuel Jr. being out, and as well as Michael Davis. So 2 of their top 3 corners are out for this game. That is monstrous. That's very big. But Tavon Campbell, Ryan Smith can definitely step in this Chargers defense and, still provide what is needed. I don't think, obviously, they're the same. And especially Asante Samuel Jr., dude, he is looking like a damn stud. And it's crazy. Now I feel like old man winner because I watched his dad. So that's crazy. But I love to see it, man. But it just sucks we're not going to actually play against him. But Quez Watkins, Jalen Reagor, we got to get those guys trying to roll. But we've thought in other matchups that, the Niners, people were hurt. Oh, yeah, here it is. This is the week. Oh, the Buccaneers, they can't cut up. Yeah. Nope. If they get a little roughed up, I think, and Devonta Smith, in his case, he's getting open. A lot of times missed throws, and he has dropped some. Let's not kid ourselves, but a lot of times he's wide open, and it's just missed reads or missed throws, whatever it is. But this is a whole collective failure right now, and it's not a failure. It's just bumpy roads, man. And we talk about it. This team we're gonna go through it, man. We've got a lot of things to grow with here, but grow through as well. So we're going to go and grow together. Now, this cornerback tandem may be banged up. They are out also a safety in Alohi Gilman. But, dude, this safety tandem may be one of the best in the league. I know we talk about having McLeod and Harris ourselves. Like, hell yeah. But Derwin James, dude, this guy can do it all, man. And, yeah, he's one of my favorite non-Eagles to watch. This kid is a stud. I really wished we would have got him, but it just wasn't possible. Now, NASIR Adderley. Oh, my God, that's another one, man. I just feel that these safeties could definitely do some hurt against Hurts. So let's hope that we don't hear their names too much on Sunday. But, man, they are really effing good. So this is what made it complicated for me. I don't know, with GOEDERT, how he's doing. They're definitely going to use their safeties to try to shut him down. So they can do what they want with the linebackers. That's why you get attacked more underneath in the middle there, I think. But it is what it is, man. You want to keep doing what you want. And they're going to, put Derwin James wherever the hell they have to. If he's got to be on GOEDERT, that's fine. If he's got to be out there single high safety, it doesn't matter, man. He'll blitz. He'll kill you anywhere, man. And that's concerning me for sure. He is definitely a stud. Now, talking about our secondary, I love where our secondary is, man. We got a bunch of veterans here that really I am hopeful can help some of these young guys before, they're gone. So this is what you do. You stock up on some young dudes. You find out who you have, because next year we're going to need to draft somebody in the first round, please, for the love of God. But allow these veterans, and probably only be Darius Slay here next year, but Steve Nelson will be gone. But right now you've got two guys that don't force you to play any of these young guys where you don't have to. Now, I would like to see some increased snaps by these young guys. We've talked about that, but I love what Nelson, Slay, and Maddox have been doing. But, Scott McPherson dealing with an injury, but I'd like to see him get some snaps. Tay Gowan, love the addition. I like the Kerry Vincent Jr. addition. He can play some free safety and nickel corner. So maybe we'll get to see him out there, maybe special teams, maybe some help at safety if we need. But I'm really pumped up that this young secondary has some hope in the future, because we've talked about these guys in the pre-draft process. So I'm very excited to see what these guys become in the next couple of years. But you have to go after a corner in the first round. But damn, the same could be said for linebacker, safety, corner. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. But Rodney McLeod, Anthony Harris, same thing, getting older. But I like Kayvon Wallace a lot. Marcus Epps is great depth. Andre Sachare has done phenomenal on special teams, but that's about beyond, what he is there. And no hating on him. Maybe he can grow into something special, but right now that's what he is. Now, I definitely would address that, because obviously McLeod and Harris have both missed time this year already, and they're getting up there in age. But I love the tandem there. I really do. And this is one I truly, truly struggled with here. I sat there and I pondered, okay, well, their defense, I like our defensive backs more. Our corners are healthy, and I think they're definitely better than their corners right now. Chris Harris is really good, but they're missing Asante Samuel Jr. and Michael Davis. But they've got those safeties. But then it's like, well, we've got safeties too. So I sat there going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, just trying to figure out, who was and it's like, well, it's not who's better, it's who has the better matchup. So for me, looking at what they can do with the safeties and the corners against the tight ends, the receivers, the running backs, everything they're going to do, I just feel, for me, I like our secondary a lot, but their secondary probably has an easier matchup when it comes down to looking at, our young receivers. They could still get roughed up. You know what I mean? It could still be their game to, manhandle us pretty much. And I don't want to see that at all, but it could definitely happen. So I went ahead and I think, we were on a roll there, got 4 in a row after they started off with 3, but I'm going to have to give the advantage to the LA Chargers here. I'm going to be real with you. I just feel that with James back there, Adderley, and Chris Harris still there, I think they could really rough us up. And I'm hopeful that we could get some work done, but they're good against the pass, regardless of the injuries. And man, I'm telling you, this was really hard for me to go with, but I just feel they could slow down those receivers of ours. And I hate that, man. I really want to see them get going. And I hope that I'm wrong. And I'm hopeful that, I just say something to jinx myself and they just do great this week. So go ahead, receivers, go out and kick some ass, please, for the love of God. The quarterback, receivers, or coaching staff has been together on the field 15 games yet. Bumpy roads need to exactly, and too high up. You know it. You've been tuning in here. I talk about it all the damn time. We talked about it all off season. People losing their damn minds, and it's like, man, what do you expect, man? And it's ridiculous. We're going into week 9, and Jalen Hurts like, oh, you should be an all-pro by now. And it's like, no, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and I'm not comparing him to them. I'm just saying you got to have patience sometimes with guys that we know are a work in progress. They're not coming out right away like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow means business. It's like Jalen Hurts has a different skill set. He's a dual threat quarterback, and we know he needs to work on things. And I think he's got a cannon of an arm. He just got to work on his timing, his reads, his accuracy. It's just a lot of people losing their minds. But yeah, I'm with you, man. And people just, they don't get that. But we're going to keep working on things, and we're going to keep progressing week by week. And we don't want to see that regression and then non-running, because I can't take that. Cloud can handle the Smith match, but our receivers are going to have a hard time getting time down. Jalen, well, that's the thing. And that's the thing. Jalen has definitely had his struggles there, but he's also had some success. So I'm just going to be hopeful that you establish the run and don't rely on it being RPO, because I think that's where a lot of the struggles are, putting everything on his back. You have to run the ball, establish that, keep the defense on their toes. And dude, when you're using that play action rather than just RPO and everybody every damn play, putting the decision in his hands, I think it does a lot for him. And we've talked about that for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. They finally did it, and we won big. So do that again. And obviously, you're going to have to make in-game adjustments, but I think you could definitely beat these guys, man. It's just, this team sometimes makes me want to punch myself in the face, because it's just like, what are you? So, but what do we talk about? Bumpy roads, right? So we gotta and when you're in the moment watching the game, it's harder, because you're just like, oh my God, why you're not running? And it's killer, man. It is. And so I get it, guys. And we're all going through it together. We're going through it together. I got a fucking rat tail coming out here. But dude, I'll be real with you. I still think we can win this game. So let's talk about the special teams, though. Before we go anywhere, we never leave anyone out. So let's get into theirs first. Talking about Destin Hopkins. You guys remember him from Washington. Then they got Ty Long, Matt Overton as their long snapper. Fantastic. And then Andre Roberts. We talked about him earlier with the real wide receivers, the journeyman here. Yeah, he kick returns and punt returns for these guys. So just one picture there. But you could see Guyton back there, Adderley, maybe Roundtree. You never know. So yeah, a decent special teams unit. Now, I love our special teams unit. I like what Jake Elliott has done this year. Aaron Sipos was such a huge surprise. Love that. Love Rick Lovato. Love what the whole special teams unit has done. Now, where we are lacking is we need to see something from this damn return game. So if you're not going to use Kenny Gainwell in the run game, let's see a big return. Reagor, if you're healthy, back on those punt returns, make something big happen. I don't know if Greg Ward will be back there again, or I doubt you use Boston Scott every once in a while. They were, but now he's kind of RB1. So I think that we have a damn good unit, though. It's just time to see a big play happen. I love what the special teams itself is doing in the kicker, though. So I'm going ahead and giving the advantage to the Philadelphia Eagles, breaking the tie and giving the win to the Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to the matchup advantage. So wild for me in my head, because I almost went with the advantage to the Eagles with DBs. And I was like, no, I can't do that. I can't. So I didn't. And then I was like, oh shit. So now I've got a tie here and I've got to break it. And yeah, Dustin Hopkins, I'm not putting him over Jake Elliott. And I think our return game could be better than Andre Roberts if they just get their asses out there. So we'll see what it is this Sunday. But hey, this is definitely a winnable game, man. And I think Howard will be. We've talked about that a little bit earlier in the video with the running backs. Jordan Howard will be brought up, I believe, on Sunday. You got to keep pounding that rock. They're 32nd against the run. Take it all with a grain of salt with the numbers, but you can run against them. So run the ball with Boston, with Jordan, with Kenny, whatever you got to do, run the damn ball. Excited seeing Watkins back there. Just makes you feel like Jackson back in that. Well, I like seeing REAGOR back there, Watkins. I like Gainwell, all those guys. You need to get the ball in their hands. That's what they are known for, playmakers. So we need to see a big play this Sunday. It's early to ask this, but we signing Anthony here. Well, it depends on what we do here, what our game plan is toward the future. But I think with some of these young guys, like what was it, Kerry Vincent Jr., maybe you try to see if he could be free safety. I know he listed as a corner, whatever, but he is a free safety / nickel corner because he can do both. So, hey, maybe he pans out to be something special. That'd be awesome. You never know, but it wouldn't be a bad thing to keep a veteran around. I just think you need to go after a safety high in the draft. Hopefully somebody that can come in and start right away. Maybe Kayvon Wallace continues to step it up. I'd like to see him, but I think you could move on from Anthony Harris if you wanted to. You can move on from Rodney McLeod. You could do a lot of things towards this whole retool toward the future. So I think a lot of these older guys are going to be gone. And this offseason, I'll be breaking down a lot of that stuff, Michael. I always do, looking at the cap numbers, because a lot of people just want to say this guy's got to go, this, that, the other thing. And it's like, well, first off, let's look at, the dead cap money. Is that going to save us money or is it going to hurt us? Because a lot of times that'd be stupid, to hurt yourself for no reason. So we'll see. Now with the Carson thing, like, you know what I mean? There's certain situations where it's like, got to just do what you got to do. So we'll be breaking that down, Michael, but great question. But a lot of the older guys are going to be gone. We're going to keep doing this retool. And I love it, man. I thought we had a great draft and people are very impatient, but I think we just got to keep building toward what we have right here, right now. And I think it's going to be a pretty good team for the future if we can keep drafting right. And we got ourselves in a prime damn position for this year's draft. So let's just hope. And I know everybody, it's Howie. I get it. And it was Howie this year and we did well. So I'm just hopeful, people were, why do we trade the 6th pick? And I talked about if we trade back in the top 10 while keeping that first round pick, not only did we do that, but we got Devonta Smith. So Howie fleeced them. And I love that. If he has another good draft, man, this team could be looking very bright. And we need Hurts to step it up, man, this back half of the season. So we don't have to go after a quarterback and we can just keep building and building. And I'm very hopeful for the kid. So let's just hope for the best. But that was it, ladies and gentlemen. That was your roster comparison and matchup advantages for the Eagles and Chargers Week 9 matchup. And I'm pumped, baby. I cannot wait for this damn game. That is it for this beautiful Friday night. I hope you're all having yourself a great start to your weekend. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for hitting that like button, retweeting, subscribing to the YouTube channel. I truly appreciate all of your guys' support. Truly are the best. But if you need anything, you want to talk about birds, you want to comment on this later, I'll always get back to you. You want to talk about life, it does not matter. But I appreciate all of you guys. Hopefully you're having yourselves a safe weekend. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be talking about the top 10 matchups for this Eagles and Chargers game. A lot of matchups to exploit that we just talked about. So we're going to talk about which the top 10 are. Last couple of weeks, the ones we've been talking about have been really paying off. We've been seeing some of these guys that need to step it up. Step it up. Love it. Love it. So have yourselves a great rest of your night. I'll be back tomorrow. And as always, go Birds!